Today we are taking delivery of our shed on our property, the new property. So we're very excited over this. The guy Tyler, he built it himself. It's very impressive. When I was out there and he pulled in, I was very excited about the size of it. Looked very sturdy. The color was really nice. I was really happy about the purchase of the shed. Uh, Here we're just discussing the process of just bringing it in. He was a little concerned about the ground. It's a little bit soft because we had just finished the snow, but I was definitely okay with it. I'll be doing a lot of landscaping to get that done. His truck was plenty strong, as you can see. It's a 3500. Moved the shed pretty much easily. It was like it was on a tiny little bit, excuse me, a tiny trailer. So he said it's about 3,500 pounds, maybe 4,000, give or take. Again, it moved relatively easily. So here we are just trying to figure out exactly where we want it. Based on the leveling of the ground, space, and also the optics of making sure it looks like it's level with a few of the large trees that you guys will see at some point. This side here is going to be where the window goes. It's going to be a giant window that you'll see that I'm going to be framing out in a little bit and try to get that installed as soon as I can. I was really excited to watch them unload and unhook this shed from the trailer. I've never really been up close to this. I'm a city boy, so I don't really do a whole lot of towing, but it's nice to kind of see how they get it done. I was asking a lot of questions about the hitch that's attached to the truck, the strap downs, the come alongs, they're super strong. He's like, those things can hold 4,500 pounds. So I just kind of watched how they how they disconnected it. Trailer hitch kind of went up with a whole lot of power. It's super easy, super simple. And watching them do it with ease is very comforting. So I know that the shed did not do a whole lot of moving and shaking during delivery. So it's a lot of settling. It has to get done anyway because it's a moving object. So here they are figuring out how far they need to get the trailer back to just make sure it has its support. They put a bunch of cinder blocks under it, a few 2x4s to kind of keep it somewhat level. And they'll spend probably 25 to 30 minutes leveling it all out, getting it to where it's balanced, and pretty much where it's going to sit for at least a few months. There's a chance it stays there permanently, depending on how I get all the landscaping done. But right now, they're just moving the trailer out. I think that's about it. I think the trailer comes totally off right now. It does. And then they just spend some time to use a high lift or a high jack or whatever this thing is called. I'm actually going to get one because I'm going to have to do some work on the underneath the supports now. The support blocks I'm going to do. I didn't get a lot of time to put some drainage underneath it. So I'm going to do that before I even put any equipment inside of it, just so it can kind of drain nicely, easily, and it doesn't sink into the ground too much. But again, I didn't have a whole lot of time because the snow had just left, and I really wanted to take ownership of the shed to get some equipment over. So mid to late April, I can have the athletes over there enjoying their time, and they won't spend a lot of time not training. So hopefully it'll only be a few days, if that, where they won't have any days where they can train. So it's going to be very exciting. I'm still, Tyler and I both happen to have on red today. So that's Tyler kind of doing all of his leveling things. You'll see me kind of walking around, inspecting, getting to know the shed a little bit, trying to get the sense of it's still the layout and if I'm happy with where it is. I spent quite a few hours out there just trying to figure out where exactly I want it. This is definitely a good place for it because you'll be able to see it from the road, but it's not close enough where people are going to want to just walk up whenever they get become curious. Did find out that if we have porcupines out there, I did not know. I've never even seen a live porcupine, but that's going to be an interesting take for the dogs once they get a sniff of the porcupines. So hopefully, it's not going to be a whole lot of excitement with porcupines, and you guys will definitely see if it does happen. So they're leveling it here. I know right now it doesn't seem to be quite level, but it definitely is getting a lot closer. That's me. Actually, I didn't have on a red jacket. I had on an orange hat. So um, you'll get a good sense of what level means once you're out there. It just right now the camera is is sitting at a certain spot. So in the back end, you're looking more at the front end. So the back end, it seems as if it's higher, but it's really not. I'm going to do a better job of making sure it looks level once I'm doing some more work and getting a sense of how the camera is situated. So he's taking off all the braces, and now you get to see me. First day out, I am going to be framing out for the window. So I went and purchased a nice window because I definitely want that natural sunlight to come in. It's going to be the first thing I do on the shed because I've never done framing of a window. I'm not a carpenter, not a contractor, but I'm getting really comfortable using a saw, understanding angles, learning a whole lot as I go. Here's the window that I purchased. I got a wood grain frame for the inside, so all of this wood you're not going to see. It's going to end up being insulated and everything. Had to move the truck because the big guy's with me, so you can see him rolling about, and he kept walking around the truck, and I had to put a lead on him because he'll roam about and he'll be gone. He's super comfortable, so he doesn't really spook at all. So he'll keep moving about, and I really couldn't keep an eye on him. And with all the animals and the smells, I definitely had to keep a little bit of eye on him. So I kind of tethered him to a tree with I think I got a 60-foot lead on him. So here I am trying to cut the sill and the jams and all of the fancy words for framing out a window, getting a good sense of exactly how to do this. I had all my measurements down. I clearly have the window with me, so it definitely helps me. Where it's sitting now is exactly where it's going to sit once I cut it out. So I kind of sat it there to get a good sense of what it's going to look like. I'm very excited over how big it is, and it's going to let in some nice light. It's going to be the only window on this side. I don't want a whole lot of windows because a lot of times I will just keep the door open. And I'm just getting a good sense of like how it sits. How many of the jams and beams I'm going to need on the outside. I got a great understanding of how it looks. So as long as I can do that, I'm good. Big guy's coming inside to hang out with me a little bit. I think he was tired of being like tugged, tugged with his tether. You can see it's really long. He can kind of go where he wants. Um, but he kind of likes them all about. He's kind of inspecting and getting a sense of like all this his new space also. Um, and he loves to hang out and lie down. He's a big dog, 150 pounds. He does lie down a lot. So here I'm just getting the measurements. I measure 3 or 4 times before I start to cut, especially because I'm not experienced at what this is going to look like. So I wanted to make sure that I had all of the cuts exactly the way I wanted them. I only miscut a few of the small supports that go under the sill. So I'm really happy I didn't waste any wood. Um, and I was just making sure that I, measure a few times on the wall, measure the window, then measure the cuts that I'm making. Super easy. Um, Check my notes a lot just to kind of reinforce exactly what I'm about to cut and making sure that I'm comfortable with the cuts I'm about to make. As you can see now, it looks a lot more level I'm on the inside because it's definitely level. Checking my notes again, remeasuring again before I go out to make a cut. What's going to be nice is the window is really large, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. With the gambrel roof, I wanted that because I wanted more headspace, but it does take up some space in regards to your wall space. So I'm okay with that. I'm not going to put a skylighter in or anything like that. It's where we're going to train. Everybody knows like training is important. It's not about the fancy bells and whistles, but it's a comfortable space where you have the equipment you need and you're allowed to focus. It's definitely going to be useful. At some point, we're going to build a much larger gym in the back of the property, but we're looking, that's probably the end of, maybe the end of the year, depending on how things are going with me. Here I am. I think I'm measuring the jams. I think I finally got to that point. I got the top bracket. I got the some 2x6s go to the top. They're nailed together with another 2x4. So the top of it, you'll get to see the structure of the top to support weight from the top is very, very important. Just making my final cuts here. I think I only have like 3 or 4 left, if that many. And you'll see that I did mismeasure the 4 blocks on the bottom that you can see now. So I did not factor in just the one 2x6 that the the one 2x4 that the 2x6s sit on at the top. So as you can see, I went and measured that one there at the bottom. I realized I think they were 3/4 of an inch too long. So those are the only cuts that were not measured correctly. So I was able to measure those, and I was happy with how those turned out. So I'm finishing up here all the measurements. The big guy is still mulling about. He had some fun. Once we left, I took him to the back and let him run loose. He kind of goes to the same area, so I think he got some smells or some a whiff of something that he likes over there. But he pretty much goes to the same 2 or 3 spots. So here's the final cuts of all of them. Super happy. I measured it all out. Looks good to me. Uh, I think I'm just doing 1 or 2 more cuts here and finishing up. So in the next video, I will put together me framing it on the wall. I'm going to try to cut it out as well. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, and I'm satisfied with how it works. So it's going to be a whole lot of leveling, a lot of sealing up, and it's going to be interesting to see, how I get that done. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much for following. Subscribe and like and share it if you like. It's going to be a pretty cool and interesting adventure.